All right, everybody, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into the world of productivity.
Ooh, productivity.
Yeah, and, goal setting, all that good stuff.
I like it.
It's all inspired by this book called The One Thing. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yeah, Gary Keller. Classic.
It is a classic. But what we're going to be looking at today is an interactive worksheet based on it.
Interesting.
So even if you haven't actually sat down and read the whole book, you're still going to get a lot of, I think, really great information out of this.
Cool.
And we're really going to explore how finding your one thing, capital O-N-E, capital T-H-I-N-G, can help you prioritize and achieve more.
Yeah.
And, ultimately feel less overwhelmed by everything.
Yeah, I think that's something everybody struggles with.
Yeah.
So
it's like that constant oh my gosh, there's so much to do and I don't even know where to start.
Exactly.
So hopefully this will provide a little clarity for everybody out there. So, so the worksheet starts off and it says, write down everything on your to-do list. And I think everybody kind of knows what's on their to-do list at this point.
Right. It's usually pretty long.
It can be a mile long sometimes.
Yeah.
But then it asks you to trim it down.
Ah.
So why is that so crucial?
Well, the one thing is all about finding your most impactful action, right?
Right.
So if you have this mile-long list of to-dos, it can be super overwhelming.
Yeah.
And trimming it down allows you to prioritize and really zero in on what's truly important.
So it's like you're getting rid of all the fluff and just focusing on the meat of it.
Exactly. It's about, going from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered.
Oh, I like that.
By focusing on what truly matters.
Yeah, and I think that's so key, right? Because if you're constantly just trying to do everything, you don't actually get anything done.
Yeah, you spread yourself too thin.
You do. You spread yourself too thin.
And then nothing gets the attention it deserves.
Exactly, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Totally.
So, okay, speaking of prioritization, the worksheet has this prompt that says, schedule time for yourself daily.
Yes.
Which is in our go, go, go society, it's almost like...
It seems counterintuitive.
It does. It seems very I don't have time for that.
Right.
But why is that important?
Well, I think Keller argues that taking time for yourself, whether it's, reading, meditating, going for a walk, whatever recharges you, is absolutely essential for productivity.
Right.
Because if you're constantly on, you're going to burn out. You're not going to be effective in tackling your one thing.
So it's almost like you're filling up your tank.
Exactly. It's like preventative maintenance for your mind and your body.
Yeah. So it's not selfish.
Not at all.
To take that time for yourself.
It's an investment.
It's investment, yeah.
In your productivity.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about time wasters because we all have them.
Oh, absolutely.
And the worksheet actually asks you to identify what yours are.
Oh.
So what are some common ones that you see?
Ooh, common ones. Well, social media is a huge one, right? You can get sucked into that vortex.
Yeah, it's a black hole.
It is. And then there's email. Constantly checking email can be a huge time waster.
Like a never-ending cycle.
It is, and then there's things like, unproductive meetings.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been in a few of those.
Yeah, we all have, right? Where you just feel like your time is being wasted. And these are all things that make us feel busy.
Yeah.
But they don't actually move us closer to our goals.
No, they don't. So it's like you're busy being busy.
Exactly. And the one thing encourages us to identify these time wasters and eliminate them as much as possible.
So it's like decluttering.
Yeah, it's like decluttering your schedule.
Yeah, I like that analogy a lot.
It's about making space for the things that matter.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
So now let's get a little bit personal, right? Because there's a question on here that asks you about what excites you? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Yes.
Why is that question on a productivity worksheet?
Well, I think it's because your one thing, right? That one most important thing should be aligned with your passions, with your values.
Right.
Because when you're working on something that you're genuinely excited about, something that gets you fired up, you're going to be way more motivated. You're going to persevere.
Yeah, you're going to be more likely to stick with it too.
Exactly.
You're not going to give up as easily.
Exactly. So it's about finding that intersection between what you're good at and what you love.
I like that.
And then going all in on that.
Yeah, okay. So that brings us to the big, huge question here, which is...
The $1 million question.
The $1 million question.
Yeah.
How do we figure out what our one thing is?
Right. Because it's easy to say, oh, just find the one thing that's most important.
Right.
But how do we actually do that? And I think, this is where it takes some introspection, some soul searching, right?
Okay.
You got to think about your long-term goals. What do you want to achieve in your life?
Yeah.
Think about your values, what's important to you, and then think about your skills and your talents. What are you naturally good at?
Okay.
And then, the book talks about this idea of the focusing question. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary?
That's a good question.
It is.
It's a really good question.
So it's about, finding that domino that you can knock over that's going to set off a positive chain reaction in your life.
Like a catalyst, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about like figuring all this stuff out, but
Right.
there's a little note at the bottom of the worksheet that says reading alone isn't enough.
Yes, that's so important.
So like how do we go from knowledge to action?
Well, I think the first step is to actually use the worksheet, right? Go through the exercises, write down your answers. Don't just think about them. Put pen to paper.
Physically write it down.
Yes, because there's something about that act of writing that makes it more real.
Right.
And then once you've identified your one thing, block out time in your schedule to actually work on it.
Okay.
Keller actually suggests, dedicating your most productive hour each day to your one thing.
So it's like prime time, one thing time.
Prime time, yeah, because that's when you're going to be most focused, most energized.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So if we were to kind of distill everything we talked about today into like one key takeaway,
Okay.
what would that be?
I think it would be this. Focus is key, in a world that's constantly trying to distract us.
Oh, yeah?
It's more important than ever to be intentional with our time and our energy.
Yeah.
And finding and focusing on your one thing can be a game changer. It can help you achieve your goals, reduce stress, and live a more fulfilling life.
It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters.
Exactly.
I like that. So as a final thought for everyone listening, if you could only accomplish one thing tomorrow,
Ooh,
that would have the biggest positive impact on your life, what would it be?
that's a good one.
Think about it.
Write it down.
Write it down. Make it happen. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
into the one thing. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.